In this lesson, we're going to take diagramming one step farther. You should have already watched the diagramming subjects and verbs video, and now we'll move to the next item. All right, we're going to first do what we already know how to do, and that is to first find any prepositional phrases. Can you spot any? I can. And I see that in the red dress is a prepositional phrase which for the time being we are just going to get out of our way. Just kill it. Okay, now we need to know what the action of this sentence is. And the action is fed. There's our simple verb. Who or what fed? Girls. The girl fed. So our subject is girl. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and diagram this much. All right, since we know what we have here, we have one subject and one verb. And we just have girl, fed. All right? Now, we're going to take it one step farther than we did in the last video. We're going to ask, girl fed whom or what? That's strictly whom or what, no, nothing else. Do we get an answer? And we go, why yes, we do. Girl fed dogs. We have a direct object and it goes right off the end of the verb because direct objects belong to particular verbs. And that's not very straight, but that should have been perpendicular. And the direct object goes right here. You'll notice the direct object line does not go clear through. This is why I told you it's very important for this subject verb line to go clear through. The direct object line stops at the baseline. All right? Let's try another one. All right. The man in the red hat spoke briefly. This is a very important one to pay attention to, even though it looks just real simple and easy. It's just one to pay attention to. It's not that it's hard. Okay, do I have any prepositional phrases? Yes, I do. In the red hat. Get rid of it. Okay. What's the action? Spoke. Who or what spoke? Man. Subject. Now, watch out. Man spoke whom or what? Now, don't tell me briefly. What does briefly tell you? It tells how he spoke. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm only looking for a whom or a what, and I don't have it. And so I have simply a subject and a verb. Man spoke. Now eventually I'll show you how to do these others, but not right now, these other words. All right, now I want you to think back when we were doing the other video on diagramming. Sometimes you had two subjects and you just had to split that line so that you had a line for each subject. Sometimes we had two verbs and you just split that line. It was no big deal. All right, so let's see what we have here. Do we have any prepositional phrases? And we do not. There aren't any, so we don't need to get rid of anything. All right, what's the action? And we have two things. Sang and ate. Who or what sang, ate? Romeo, subject, Juliet, subject. Let's diagram that much. All right, we have one subject line, the other joined. So here we have Romeo. Here we have Juliet. Here we have and, if I can fit it in. Then we have to draw our subject verb line. Then we have to split it. They sang, that's the verb that came first, and they ate. Now you need to make sure here, Romeo sang and Romeo ate. So that's fine. We've joined them back together so they share, Romeo shares both verbs. Juliet also sang and she ate, so she shares both verbs. Now let's go a step farther. Romeo and Juliet sang what? Now do I get an answer? And it's yes, it is. I do. Songs is a direct object. Romeo, Juliet ate what? Ah, I know what they ate. They ate pizza. I have another direct object. Now, I want you to watch this very carefully. Remember how I just said that Romeo and Juliet shared these verbs? Well, we have to consider that same issue right now. Because if I said Romeo and Juliet sang what, it would be songs. As I said, did they eat the songs? It's like, no. So, songs belongs to this verb. This songs is the verb sang's direct object. Romeo and Juliet ate what? And it's pizza. They did not sang pizza. They ate pizza. So each verb has its own direct object. That's why I do not join that line back together again. And it just looks like this. Now, if I had shown this to you immediately when we started this, you would have thought that looked very, very complicated. But I am betting that right now you understand this completely. And it's like, oh, it just looks on the board more complicated than it is. All right, let's try another one. Cinderella scrubbed the floor and whined. Now you'll remember we did this one when we were diagramming subjects and verbs. Okay, so we will have any prepositional phrases? No. Do we have any action? Yes. Scrubbed, whined. Who scrubbed and whined? Cinderella. There's our subject. Now we diagrammed this before, remember? We have Cinderella. And I have my subject verb line. Then I have to split my verb line, so I have two. She scrubbed. And she whined. An and goes right there. All right, let's take it one step farther. Cinderella scrubbed what? We get an answer. She scrubbed the floor. So we have a direct object here. And that's going to go right off here. All right. Cinderella whined what? We don't get any answer there. Well, then does that mean I should have connected the scrubbed and whined lines before I did floor? ask yourself, did she whine the floor? And you'll say, that makes no sense at all. One of the verbs has a direct object and the other one does not. All right? The cat chased the dog and smiled. All right, let's see what we have here. Do we have any prepositional phrases? No. All right, let's just look for action. Chased, smiled. Who chased and smiled? The cat. All right. Cat chased whom or what? Well, the cat chased the dog. The cat smiled whom or what? And no, I did not ask at whom or what. It's just plain old whom or what. And there's no answer. So I have cat. I really drew that longer than I needed to because I've got to split it. And I have chased and smiled. And. Okay? Now, one of these verbs has a direct object, the other one doesn't. And we already know it belongs to chased. Chased dog. Okay? Okay, now I want you to go, and you may want to watch this again to make sure you've got this down, because I usually would give you way more exercises that we do together, but you have the basics here, and now you can go to easygrammar.net and do exercises on diagramming subjects, verbs, and direct objects. And what I did was actually to write out the plot line of Shakespeare's Hamlet, and that's what you'll be diagramming. Good luck.